While the Dene people were living in the glittering world, they saw that the Pueblo people had crops, had corn growing in their fields, and they wanted to get some of this corn. And so at first woman thought they would send a contingent over with gifts, to get the corn crop seeds from the Pueblo peoples. But then Coyote came forth, and Coyote said, "Oh no, I have a better plan. I know that if I can get some volunteers, I can sneak over to the Pueblo cornfields, and when they're sleeping at night, I can steal some of their corn and bring it back, and then we don't have to send any gifts." First woman was a little unsure of this plan, but nonetheless, there were volunteers that would go with Coyote. These volunteers included Skunk, Magpie, and Crow. Crow at that time was a beautiful, glistening silver bird, and he was very proud of himself and his very long tail. And so the four of them set off on their journey to the Pueblos with their plan to steal seeds. Coyote went to the east. He arrived at the Pueblos, and at night, while they slept, he snuck into their fields and he stole a corn cob. It was low on the stalk and it was easy to get, because that's what Coyote likes to do. He doesn't really want to have to work very hard. So he had this stalk of corn, and he laid in wait for his friends as they would return to Navajo land. Next came Skunk, and he headed off to the west, also to visit the Pueblo land. And he also got a piece of corn while the Pueblo people slept at night. It too was low on the stalk. And he went and he found Coyote, and the two of them waited together. Magpie was the next to leave, and he headed to the north. And again, his plan was to steal seeds from the Pueblo people as they slept. And so he got there, and because he was a bird, it was easier for him to fly high. He landed on the top of the corn plant, and he again picked one of the stalks, and he went back. And his plan was to wait with Coyote and Skunk and Magpie for Crow, and then the four of them would head back to Navajo land with the corn they had stolen. Crow was the last to leave as he headed on his trip, and he had just the beautiful silver gray with white vest and leggings, and he headed south. And again, his plan was to steal corn too. Because he was a bird, he also went high on the stalk, and he got a stalk of corn. But then what happened was the Pueblo people caught him. And they said, "Who is this that is stealing our corn?" And so they took black corn smut, and what they did to Coyote is what we will hear about now. They took the black smut and they covered Coyote's beak with it, and they covered his eyes with it, and they covered his fur with it, and they covered all of his feathers and his feet. Every part of him they covered with black corn smut. Coyote tried to wash it off as best he could, but but it was permanent. It would never come off. And this is what Coyote looked like as he headed back to meet with Coyote and Skunk and Magpie, so that they would go back to Navajo land and give to First Woman the corn they had stolen from the Pueblos. As they come back to First Woman, Coyote gave First Woman the stalk he had picked low on the stalk of corn. It turned out it was soft and mushy. The irrigation water had soaked the corn, and it was useless. Then Skunk gave First Woman the corn he had gotten also from low on the stalk. It turned out that field mice had gnawed the germ, and this was useless also. Then Magpie came forth with the corn it had gotten from the top of the plant near the tassels. Surely it would have been good. But no, it was wormy. Then Crow brought forth his corn that he had taken, and it was black with corn smut. It was completely useless. First Woman said, "We are going to do this the right way. We are going to get volunteers, and we are going to send our maidens and our youth to visit the Pueblos. They will take them gifts, and they will stay there for a whole growing season to learn how the planting is done, how the harvest is done, and all of the ceremonies that go along with this process." And so Coyote and Skunk and Magpie and Crow went off and away. Otter Boy and Otter Girl volunteered to go to the east. Otter Girl said, "I will take a wonderful gift to the Pueblo people. I will take some beautiful white shell and white coral to the people. I will take them this beautiful shell necklace and these beautiful beads. Those will be gifts worthy of the Pueblo, such that I can receive a gift from them." Bluebird Maiden and Mockingbird Youth volunteered to go to the west so that they could go to the Pueblos living there and ask for corn and ask to learn the ceremonies and the prayers and the blessings that were associated with planting and growing and harvesting corn. Bluebird Maiden said, "I will take them a turquoise amulet, and I will take them some beautiful turquoise beads. Surely that will be a gift worthy of asking them for corn." And so Bluebird Maiden took a beautiful turquoise amulet, and she took a beautiful strand of turquoise beads as a gift to the Pueblo people. Canary Girl and Blackbird Youth volunteered to go to the south, to the Pueblos there, to seek knowledge about corn planting and harvesting. And Canary Girl said, I will take them a beautiful gift, worthy of learning from them. I will take them stone of jasper, and I will take them these beautiful coral beads in this basket, and it will be a wondrous gift to them. And then Beaver Girl and Muskrat Youth came forth, and they said, we will go to the north so that we can learn about corn also. And Beaver Girl said, I will take them a beautiful gift also. I will take them stone of jet, and I will take them this beautiful basket and these beautiful black beads. Surely they will appreciate this gift. And so Otter Boy and Otter Girl set off to the east. Bluebird Maiden and Mockingbird Youth set off to the west. Canary Girl and Blackbird Youth set off to the south. And to the north, Beaver Girl and Muskrat Youth began their journey. And so they went to the Pueblos, and the Pueblos were very thankful for the beautiful gifts. And they said, you are going to have to stay with us a full year in order to learn all about planting and harvesting and all of the sacred ceremonies that go along with it. And so they did. And so the Navajos in Navajo land waited for the return of these volunteers. From the east, they saw Otter Girl coming back. And Otter Girl was carrying a basket. And in that basket was a stalk of white corn and seeds for beeweed. That was a wondrous gift indeed. And so First Woman thanked her for volunteering and knew that this white corn would be very helpful to the Navajo people. Next came Bluebird Maiden, and she also carried a basket. And in that basket was blue corn and many kinds of seeds of beans, white beans, black beans, and pinto beans. Oh, such a wondrous gift Bluebird Maiden had brought to the Dene. Next, the Dene noticed that Canary Girl was coming back. Whoa, and she also had a basket with her. And in her basket, my gosh, were sunflower seeds, yellow corn, melon seeds, squash seeds, and pumpkin seeds. Oh my, what a wondrous gift. And in addition to having just the seeds, they had sent with Canary Girl a wondrous basket of melons and pumpkins and squash, so that the Dene would know what they were going to be able to grow from the seeds. Oh, First Woman was overjoyed, so thankful to Canary Girl for having volunteered. And they all waited eagerly for Beaver Girl to come back from the north. And then they saw her approaching. She too had a wondrous basket in her hand. Beaver Girl's basket had variegated corn, and it also had healing herbs and wondrous tobacco. In addition, it was a beautiful willow woven basket that the Navajos would cherish, because they knew that the Jicarilla Apaches worked very hard on these baskets, and they traded with the Pueblos. And so they would treasure not only the seeds, but also the baskets that each of these brave volunteers had brought. And so First Woman thanked Otter Girl, Bluebird Maiden, Canary Girl, and Beaver Girl. And the people knew that soon their youth would be returning also, with knowledge of the ceremonies associated with growing corn. And sure enough, Otter Boy approached, and he had learned the planting rites and the seed blessings. And not only had he learned them, but they had given him special gifts. They had given him beautiful feathers that he would wear when he was chanting and saying his ceremonies. They had given him a wondrous medicine bag that he was to wear all of the time, and he was to be one of the medicine men of the Navajos. He would have a special medicine bundle. He would also have a special armband that he was to wear. And so Otter Boy had returned with the planting rites and the seed blessing ceremonies, with a wonderful gift of medicine bundles, ceremonial garb, feather headdresses, red leather moccasins, and armbands. And the people were very, very proud that he had taken this year to learn all of this from the Pueblo people. Next came Mockingbird Youth, and he had been blessed with the corn blessing songs, the songs that would be sung when the corn was to be planted. And he too had been gifted with sacred feathers. He had been gifted with a wonderful medicine bag that he was to wear at all times, and he too would be a medicine man of the Navajo people. In addition, he was given a wondrous armband, red leather moccasins, and ceremonial guard. And the Navajo people were just amazed, because here Otter Boy and Mockingbird Youth had returned, and they had returned with medicine bundles, with ceremonial garb, feather headdresses, red leather moccasins, armbands, and most importantly, the sacred songs that were to go with blessing the corn before it was planting and blessing it as it grew. Next came Blackbird Youth, and he too had spent a year there learning as much as he could about the ceremonies associated with the growth of corn. He too had been blessed with beautiful feathers. He had been blessed with a medicine bundle he was to wear at all times. He had also been blessed with an armband so that he would have the ceremonial garments necessary to do his jobs. And so, First Woman was so pleased because now they had the growing ceremony as a result of Blackbird youth having spent a year with the Pueblo peoples learning this sacred material. And so the Navajos waited for the last of the youth to return, and it was Muskrat Youth coming from the north. He had learned the harvest ceremony, and he too had been given sacred feathers. He had been given also a medicine bundle that he was to wear at all times, and in it was the medicine that would help the Navajo people. He also had been given an armband to wear. All of them had been gifted with rattles so that they would be able to chant as they sang the prayers associated with growing corn, harvesting corn, and storing corn, and being thankful and blessed with such a wondrous gift. And so now the Navajo people had the ability to grow corn. And rather than having stolen it and ended up, as Crow did, completely black from the corn smut put upon him, we now had the 4 youth having returned with medicine bundles. We had the 4 girls that had volunteered, the maidens, having returned with seeds. The seeds would be owned by the women of the tribe, and they would do the planting. And it was truly a gift to the Navajo people that these maidens and youth had volunteered to go to the Pueblos, had spent a year, had given them gifts that the Pueblos would value, because Navajos believe that if you are going to give a gift, it should be the best of what you have, the best sheepskin, the best stones, the best beads, and that is what the maidens had done.